What is happening, people? This is No Hay Arquero, soccer podcast, providing the latest and greatest news from all over the world. I'm your host, Guillermo Romero. I'm a big Monterrey fan, big Barca fan. I come from Mexican background. All my family's from Mexico, but Houston based right now. And I'm joined by my co-host.
Hello, guys. I'm Vicente Garcia. I was born and raised in Venezuela. I'm a big Barcelona fan. However, I follow a lot of CONMEBOL action, like Boca Juniors, River, some Uruguayan teams, some stuff from Paraguay as well. Uh, I'm really excited about this. And alongside of me is
How's it going, everybody? My name is Jordy Reyes. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, but I come from a Honduran background. I am a big supporter of Fútbol Club Barcelona and the Houston Dynamo.
I mean, that's a good club right now because we will be covering CONCACAF. We're going to be covering CONMEBOL, international football, of course, the top European leagues, La Liga, Premier League, but the most important one of all, the Champions League.
a lot of things happened.
Yup.
A lot of things happened this week. It's exciting.
So much.
What was your favorite match in this week for the Champions League, Vicente?
My favorite match, although I'm a Barca fan, so a lot of you guys think I'm gonna say Barca, but not really. I love seeing Madrid suffering. I love seeing Madrid, the 3-3 against Manchester City in the Bernabeu. The closed Bernabeu was big thing. I mean, a lot of action there, a lot of goals, a lot of bangers. A lot of bangers.
A lot of bangers. I mean, that City Madrid game, we saw that Valverde goal, we saw that Foden goal, we saw so many bangers. Guardiola. I mean, yeah, it was a crazy game. So, Vicente, I mean, player performances. What do you think? Who was your man of the match?
Man of the match is Foden. I mean, 22 goals and 10 assists in all competitions. I mean, I feel like he could potentially win the Ballon d'Or. It's not a crazy thought if you really think about the season because, we have Euro Cup coming up and, Manchester City can easily win two of the biggest competitions in the world, which is the Prem and Champions League.
Yep.
So if you include a good performance in the Euro Cup, Ballon d'Or is not crazy. Obviously,
That's a warm take.
But-
Phil Foden Ballon d'Or.
But I mean, if he really does stack up those trophies and he gets that merit, because he's been playing, he's a baller.
he's a baller. And if you really think about it, this season, when you look at what's happening in the field, do you really think about Haaland scoring many goals? Or De Bruyne has been injured for a long time, so who's been there carrying the team? Pep Guardiola's team. It's
Yeah.
not an easy thing. It's
Phil.
Foden.
Yeah, it's been Phil.
A kid from the academy.
Yeah, there's been a lot of allegations against Haaland recently about him ghosting in big games and not being able to do anything in these kinds of games. And I'm not gonna disagree with any of that, but I will say this: I feel like Haaland, when he's at City, like his role really is the goal poacher.
Yeah.
Like he really is the guy to put those tap-ins in because City just kind of plays like that.
Strikers are supposed to score goals.
Yeah,
He's not supposed to create.
yeah, and they really expect them to become this game-changing player when City is already this enormous force and all they need is Haaland to tap in. He's missed a couple chances when he shouldn't, but I think that the hate is too extreme.
Yeah, honestly, what do you think about the game? The game plan, like Madrid's game plan in general.
Yeah, so Madrid came out. I mean, they came out hot initially. I think City were a bit, shell shocked, but yeah. So City was on top of it. I mean, they started off with which goal was the first one?
It was Bernardo Silva's first.
Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, in the first minute.
Bernardo kind of owns Real Madrid.
Yeah. Lucky.
Bernardo.
Not gonna say
Every
anything.
time he plays at the Bernabeu, Bernardo
jinx
Silva,
it, but
he's always there.
in a few months we may see him with the Barcelona jersey.
Hey,
Just saying.
I would
I'm
love
just saying, it's
Bernardo
possibility.
Silva as a Barca fan. But yeah,
His family lives in the city. His family lives in Barcelona. So
and then that first goal for Madrid, the unfortunate, deflection off of Ruben Diaz, I think it was, right? Ruben Diaz.
Yes, it is.
Fortunate deflection, and then you had Camavinga's goal, right?
yeah.
No, sorry, Rodrigo. Rodrigo had the second goal.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a weird finish. I feel like keeper could have done a bit better.
Madrid's luck
Yeah,
in
Keep-
Champions
I
League.
feel like the keeper could have done a bit better there. But Valverde,
Oh yeah.
whew, goal kind of reminds me of that Pavard goal in 2018 against Argentina, the same little side volley. Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a very good game, with a lot of goals. We'll see what happens in the second leg. It's at the Etihad.
If I have to give credit to someone, it's to Ancelotti though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His
Oh,
game plan was successful, and obviously you look at the score headed into England for the second leg. Obviously, it's gonna be tough, but Ancelotti's game plan was good. I mean, Rodrigo had an amazing game playing out in the wing, where everyone thought that Vinicius was gonna play there, but he put Rodrigo there and Vinicius more in the middle. That was a smart choice. And honestly, if you end up analyzing the game and the stats and everything that happened afterwards, you realize that Vinicius and Bellingham didn't have a good game. And the one person who had an amazing game, kind of carried, was Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the craziest thing is like you really look at this Madrid roster, and then they're playing with Vinicius up top, Jude at the 10, Valverde on the right, Chouameni at center back. Like they got so many players that are not playing their original positions, and it on paper it really shouldn't work. But Ancelotti makes it in a way that they tied 3-3 against Manchester City, a club that teams can only wish to do that against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like what's really really most captivating to me about this Madrid team. Like they really are putting themselves out of the box and they're succeeding while doing it. And it's as a Barca fan, I really don't like to see that kind of stuff happen. But I gotta give credit to Rodrigo, man. Like Rodrigo is such a baller. Like there have been so many occasions where he'll just come in and be the guy that is needed. And if Mbappe does really come into this team next season, I really don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what's gonna happen. That's gonna be interesting to see. You know what's also interesting is Pep Guardiola is not making it sub until the 87th minute to sub Foden, man of the match, for Julian Alvarez. What do you guys think of that?
I think Julian should be playing a lot more than he is, especially like in these kinds of games, because like when you compare Julian to like, I mean, obviously they subbed out Foden, but if you were to start Julian over Haaland, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but Julian just has more characteristics.
They're different.
Yeah, playing on the ball, running in from behind and stuff like that. Like he really is a more complete player.
Yeah, and it's not the first time Guardiola has done that. In big matches, it's very common for Guardiola to not make subs. He kind of like trusts the people who are on the pitch. And I mean, no one knows more about soccer than Guardiola, but I feel like he could have made a couple subs before the 87 minute to try to,
Yeah, for sure. I think outside of Julian as well, you have Doku on the bench. You have the, great winger. I mean, we saw in the first half of the Premier League what he could do a little bit, with the injuries that City were facing. I think he was very good for them in that period of time for City. Doesn't really fit in the starting 11 right now, unfortunately, but he's a great player off the bench. I mean, I don't see why they couldn't bring him on. Julian needs to play more in these types of games because Haaland, he was nowhere to be found. Let's just be completely honest. Him and Jude, they struggled a lot in this game, to create and get themselves open.
To me, where we saw in the beginning of the season, Jude scoring so many goals, I feel like right now, not only him, but the entire atmosphere in Madrid wants him to move forward a lot and score goals.
Yeah.
But I feel like as he's a true midfielder, so I feel like he will benefit coming a little behind.
As an 8.
Bellingham or Rodrigo as a true 8. And I think that not only Madrid will benefit, but himself.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. Like the Jude hype is crazy because like he's got so much hype for the wrong reasons. Right? Like he's scoring all these goals, late-minute goals, which credit to him. It's not easy to do it whatsoever, and Madrid just has that kind of DNA. They just be doing that. But it's like how you say they just want him to score goals, but it's like, dude, that's not what you got, Jude. Y'all just don't have a striker right now.
And the sooner you do it, the better, because next season, I don't know if Jude is going to be scoring so many goals if you have Mbappe plays as a 9. So the sooner you start putting him as a true midfielder, it not only helps him for Madrid, but it also helps him for the Euro Cup.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. But, I mean, in that same day, there was another pretty crazy game. Not as crazy as the City Madrid game, but Arsenal against Bayern was pretty crazy in itself. I mean, the history given behind that.
Yeah.
Growing up, I would always watch Bayern just smack Arsenal. Yeah. It would just be like they're cursed. They would just go against Arsenal. It just wouldn't be a good time. But this time things were different. The rosters were different. The mentality was different.
Both precedent is different.
Oh, yeah. It was a great game. 2-2. Final score.
You know what I got off that game is, although the times are different and it's a lot more even now, I still felt like Arsenal players lack European experience. And that was obvious in the first conceded goal. where you have a bad pass from the keeper, you can't control the ball, a lot of disorder in the middle, and then all of a sudden it's 1-1 without Bayern doing anything on the match. You're controlling the game, and all of a sudden it's 1-1.
Yeah.
Where at home that's tough.
Yeah, very tough. But I mean, Arsenal, hey, I mean, a decade ago, this matchup would have gone one way and one way only. So, I mean, what Arsenal have done with this team over the last few years is awesome. I mean, they've gone so much better. They're competing for a title right now. That Premier League title race, it's looking crazy. So Arsenal have done so much over the years to improve, and I think they do have a chance, man. I really do think they can go to Munich and pull off a result, especially against a Bayern side that has not been so great, in league and in Champions League. They've not been great.
If you're at Arteta, do you go to Germany trying to control the match, or do you sit back?
I try to control the match because you it's because the moment you go away and sit back, you lose. If he really does sit back, Bayern is going to score 2 minimum. In that home stadium in Munich, it's going to be way too hard. No,
Scary.
it's going to be scary, but that's going to have to be the game. If they want to win, they're going to have to do some stuff like that. Now, how you brought up earlier, like all these players, like they're super young for Arsenal. Like they really are like inexperienced and stuff, and all this is just stacking experience. But if you compare like side by side rosters, like you got to give credit to Arsenal.
Yeah.
You really do. Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, Declan Rice, like all these like young players really performing in like one of the greatest stages, and like their goals or the goals that Bayern scored were mistakes from Arsenal.
Yeah,
there are mistakes that can be prevented for next time. So I think Arsenal have a pretty good chance. But who was y'all's like man of the match in that game?
Yeah, so it was interesting. I think Odegaard ended up receiving the man of the match from UEFA, but for me it was Saka. Undoubtedly, I mean, he created so many opportunities for Arsenal. He's so good down the wing, and I mean, Saka could have even had another goal at the end there.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Yeah,
what do you guys think of that?
Man, it's a dive, 100%. I saw a different angle on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, where he kind of lifts both his legs up before making contact, like, but on the CBS replay. On the CBS Golazo replay, it's like a flying knee. It was like a flying knee towards Neuer. Yeah. It was crazy. It's a clear dive in my opinion.
It's interesting because I was speaking to a couple people about the game, and they really tell me it really depends on the angle you see. There's an angle where it's an obvious PK. There's another angle where it's not a PK. I would give credit to Neuer though. That he showed so much experience in that play. Another goalkeeper would have just like dove into that ball and just would have been an instant PK, but he just waited for Saka to make a decision, and when he did, he just stood there and with experience, trying not to expose his leg or anything, so he couldn't be caught on the spot. Yeah, it's a great play.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're annoyed at that. You're super annoyed at Saka there for just not taking a chance.
And if you're an Arsenal fan, you should be mad about what happened early in that game, though. The Arsenal trying to build off the back, then playing a pass to the goalkeeper, to I think it was Gabriel or Saliba, one of the center backs, and then him picking up with his hands.
Yeah, that's a clear PK as well.
Clear PK. I don't care.
It wasn't called. I guess I could see why it wasn't called. I guess no one really calls that in a Champions League game, but that's a pen.
But the ref said obviously that it was a kid's mistake. He's not gonna call the quarterfinals match of the Champions League. Or doesn't that make it worse? Like the other side, you may see,
because you acknowledge that it's a mistake.
You acknowledge that it's not only a mistake, but it's a kid's mistake.
Right.
And it's grown adult professionals. They're getting paid millions.
Yeah.
So you should call it. Like, you should be tough on that.
Yeah, but I just feel like at that point it would be unfair to like all the other people that have done that, because I've seen that happen so many times, and I've never seen that be called once.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. That happens in Germany with all the fans in the stands yelling for it, and I feel like their decision would have been different. Because the people in the stands were quiet. Obviously, no Arsenal fan is going to be like, hey, that's a pen.
Yeah.
No, they're quiet.
I think the pressure of the crowd could get to the ref.
She's like, let me just keep playing. Keep playing. I don't want to get in trouble.
Definitely.
I just feel like, I don't know, VAR as a whole, I don't know if it's just been this specific week, but it's been like so, like, they just take forever when it comes to like checking plays like in Champions League. Like I watch VAR in like Premier League or something. Boom, quick. Like they'll like something will happen. Okay, now keep going. But he'll be like, okay, look, let's wait like 30 seconds. Let me go check the play. They don't even check it at all sometimes. Like I feel like the soccer penalty or whatever, um, on initial watch, I thought it was a penalty. But then like when they slowed it down and stuff like that, like it
Everything changes when it's in slow motion.
Yeah, so if you would have like called the penalty like there, then maybe it would have been like hard to revert it, given what I just said about VAR, because I just feel like UEFA Champions League VAR just hasn't been consistent.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know, it's hard. Like whenever Saka tries to stick out his leg, Neuer kind of like he's there and he kind of sticks out his leg too, but like Saka, I think it comes down to he didn't have to do that.
Let's face it, VAR is only fun when it helps you. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, and then you're like, man, why does VAR exist?
When it's against you, you think it's the worst.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, guys, even yesterday there were 2 more games that were also
what was your
phenomenal.
favorite match? I think I know what you're gonna say, but what was your favorite match of those 2 games?
Barca PSG.
What a match.
What a match. What a match, man. I mean,
Xavi Neta is on fire.
yeah. So, first impressions, Guillermo, what do you think?
Wow, man. I mean, where do I start? Like, really, like, the history behind these two, not even, like, going back years and years, but going back, like, less than a decade, bro. Like, the history that we've been having against PSG, losing the players, past matches up against the Champions League, walking into this game, never a doubt in my mind, I knew that we had a chance, and I knew we were going to win. Yeah. It was just 100% fate. Ever since Xavi said that he was going to leave Barcelona started playing so good. Like,
I mean, that's why they keep asking him. The Spanish press, especially, it's like they have treated him very badly, but they keep asking him every time he gets a good result, could you stay? If you win Champions League, could you stay? And he keeps saying no. I don't think he's going to stay, but we'll see. We'll see. I feel like the players want him to stay. It really depends on what happens afterwards.
Yeah, I think he should leave. I think that's the correct decision. I don't think that his chapter at Barcelona is over. I think he'll be back. Let him go to like another league. Let him go to another team. Let him build himself up. Come back to Barcelona as a prestigious manager and take us to like great heights.
Jordy, what did you get of Xavi's game plan?
Yeah, I mean,
when you saw the starting 11, were you convinced, or were you like,
I was a little nervous about Rafinha at left wing, but wow, Rafinha, I mean, he shut me up. He shut me up. And I mean, speaking of Xavi's game plan, what a substitute. Yeah. Pedri came in, changed the game completely. Round of applause. I gotta give a round of applause for Pedri. I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, on Rafinha's second goal, wow, what a pass. Yeah. So
I was speaking earlier to a couple people about the match, and I was telling him I didn't want Barca to press, to go out and start running forward and high pressing, because they were gonna, you have Dembele and Mbappe in the sides. You're gonna get destroyed at speed. Araujo is fast, but he's not fast.
Yeah.
Koundé is fast. He's not fast. Kubarsi is just 17-year-old. Well, shout out to him. 17-year-old.
Great game.
Doing his thing.
Yeah, great game. But if you try to press high, you're gonna get picked up. So what Xavi did was kind of sitting back, and that conceded. I mean, PSG had a total of 18 shots, only 6 on target. They had a lot of chances, but Barcelona was able to control that and had the better chances.
Yeah, I think one of the unsung heroes, Ter Stegen, for sure. A phenomenal game from him, as per usual. One of the best goalkeepers in the world. So
yeah, I mean,
very good game.
It's just that's exactly what Xavi did, because you bring up that line, you just get counterattacked.
Yeah.
And Xavi just had the center backs back and just pinging balls. And I got to give a shout out to Lewandowski.
Shout out to him.
100%. Like
amazing game.
Throughout the entire game, that was the one person I'm like, he should not get subbed out. We need Lewandowski if we want to win this game, because all the balls he was receiving and then distributing them, no other player on our roster is doing that.
Yeah, he made PSG's center backs look so bad. And that's all about experience, being able to use your body, hold the ball, allow players to come forward and connect with them. I mean, the first goal, if you really analyze that goal, it all comes from a Kubarsi pass from almost inside the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
He controls the ball, turns, plays forward, and it's a different. We know what happened later.
Yeah, yeah. Lamine had a game as well. I feel like he still needs more experience, but he's literally a kid, bro. So he's gonna be good.
Yeah.
He's gonna be built for great heights.
Also, gotta give a lot of respect to Luis Enrique though.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier this week he was asked who represented Barcelona's DNA more, whether him or Xavi. He said that obviously him, and he said that if you look at stats and stuff like that, it made him look a lot better than Xavi, which he is.
Yeah.
He's got more experience, obviously, but a lot of people were saying that he didn't put the right players or he didn't have a good game plan. And I think he did. I think the game just ended up being about small details. And
Right.
Barcelona, the Christensen goal. I mean, talking about goalkeepers, like you mentioned, Ter Stegen, we got to talk about Donnarumma. A 6'5" goalkeeper cannot allow someone to hit the ball inside the 6-yard box.
You can't. You've got to be better there coming out. I mean, not a good game for Donnarumma, but there was another game as well. Atletico Dortmund, the least watched game out of all of them, if we're being completely honest. But Atletico with the 2-1 win. What did you guys think? We'd probably watch the highlights if we're being completely honest. I don't think we were. Maybe some people are watching both games at the same time.
I watched
But
a little bit of the full replay, and I'll tell you this: it was an even match because Atletico's mentality. Atletico went up 2-0, scoring the first goal in the 4th minute of the game. Rodrigo de Paul picked up a ball right outside the 18-yard box off a bad pass from the goalkeeper, and he immediately scored off that. And it was a great match until something that's very common with Atletico is that they do good until they're fine with the result.
right,
Afterwards, they
they
sit
get
back.
complacent.
Yeah, and when you sit back, like you said, you allow the other team to simply come forward and attack, and you're vulnerable, and that's when they happen.
Yeah, there was mistakes at the back. That's why in the Atletico Madrid, they capitalized, and I feel like that's what really comes down to in this sport all the time: mistakes at the back, mistakes in the midfield, and then you get countered, etc. And when a team is good at punishing mistakes, that team will win.
Yeah.
And that's simply what it comes down to. I think Dortmund, was it Sebastian Haller that scored the goal?
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, Dortmund, if you look at stats, Dortmund is the team that has faced the most shots in the competition against. They obviously came off the death group, with PSG and Newcastle and AC Milan, which is a tough group to beat. And they are close. Well, not close, but they're still in the run to make it to the semifinals. So shout out to them. But at the same time, like, come on, like they don't sit back. They don't high press. It's a complex team. It's a bit challenging to decipher like what they really do. I don't think they're gonna be able to make it to the semifinals. But if you're Diego Simeone, how do you approach the second leg? Like, what's your game plan?
I mean, I really just, like I said earlier, bro, I really just hope he doesn't sit back. Because going to that Dortmund stadium, you see that yellow wall, and it's over for you. Straight up. Got to give credit to Dortmund. They were able to pull one back, and that's huge for them.
Yeah, it's big.
2-1 is so much different than 2-0. So, I mean, I wouldn't count them out just yet. I honestly wouldn't count them out because Atletico Madrid tends to crumble under pressure, especially, recent years. But I saw that's why I would say don't count out Dortmund just yet because anything can kind of happen. And now that they're away, Madrid, now that the Atletico Madrid are away, then I think it can go either way, man.
If you're a Barca fan, who are you hoping wins here?
I mean,
I don't know. Like
I know for sure Atletico, just because if you look at Barcelona's record against Diego Simeone's Atletico, it's pretty positive.
Yeah.
You have been in La Liga. In Champions League has been different. I remember when they made it to the final against Madrid the first time.
2014.
Yeah, they beat Barcelona
us,
in the
yeah.
quarterfinals. So, you have that bad or negative result, but in La Liga, you have been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think in the 2-game series against Atletico, Xavi can control it.
Yeah, and it's definitely an opponent you recognize as well from how many times you play them naturally.
Yeah.
So I think it's a favorable matchup for Barcelona for sure. So
It's not over yet.
yeah, definitely far from over.
And that makes us want to think, we have all these games with so many goals, so many bangers, so much action. It makes me want to think about the wiggle room.
Yeah.
Because what's the difference between a 4-4 game or a 3-3 game and a 0-0 match when there is no away goal rule?
Right.
What do you guys think of that?
I think teams are definitely more aggressive, especially with that in the back of their heads. If you were Dortmund, you would have been super happy with that 2-1 at the Wanda. I mean, you're still happy. Don't get me wrong, but you're going into the second leg only needing a 1-0. Now that's not the case. I think that the away goal being taken out is a good thing personally, just because there's just not as many teams sitting back anymore, hoping that they just get one goal away from home and then just sit on that and then take it to the second leg. I think there's a lot more positive footy being played now with the fact that the away goal has been taken out.
I think the away goal rule was, personally, it took me a while to like it, but I ended up liking it because I do think, like, have you guys been able to tell? I think there should be a merit in going to an away stadium and performing well, like
especially in the Champions League.
yeah, like I think that should be recognized and given some kind of merit for it. And I thought that the away goal rule was a way to do that, and it wasn't. I mean, you can be against it or for it, but at the end of the day, you're gonna want it for your team. Like that's really what you're gonna want to get, or what you're gonna want. But I think that it was a good thing, and when they took it out, I have seen. I mean, teams just be more aggressive. How you said,
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it like that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Teams have been more aggressive. But what did you think about the away rule?
I think that wiggle rule is, like you said, is good when it helps you. It's bad when it doesn't. It does give, we got to give merit to the away teams, like going forward and attacking. But I will say this: the wiggle rule is not there, and this is all it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you can cry all you want on Twitter or other social media about not having it, but it's just the way it is, man. Don't look bad at old rules. It's the same thing that happens with VAR. Like with VAR, that's not a PK. Well, we have VAR, man. This is the new soccer, whether I like it or not. This is how it is. I do want to end up before we wrap things up. We gotta, we know the bracket. That's a good thing about a new rule that we now know brackets. We don't have a draw every time.
time.
Who is gonna play in London? Who's gonna play in London?
We're going straight to London.
Straight to Wembley.
Step by step.
Yeah,
Step by step. But who's gonna be in London?
Let's do.
And we'll save this so we can go back to it at the end.
we're gonna shame whoever gets it wrong.
We'll see who has the worst
I'm
bracket.
sure I'm gonna have it right. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, I'm gonna just go off the bat. Barcelona's taking the entire way. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay.
I genuinely don't care.
The entire thing.
The entire thing.
Step by step between PSG and Barca. Obviously Barca.
Yeah.
Atletico Dortmund. Who do you have?
I have Atletico.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Madrid City.
I have City.
Arsenal Bayern.
I have Bayern.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously Barca goes into the final. Who do
Yeah.
you have between City and Bayern?
City.
Ooh, okay.
So
So,
then-
you think Xavi is outplaying Pep in
In-
Wembley?
In a one-off game, anything can happen, bro. And
Anything
if-
is possible.
And if Xavi goes into the same mentality of I'm not gonna be pressing you, I'm gonna be with my lines back.
Sit back.
I'm gonna be playing the long ball.
That's the only way you can play City, honestly.
You know what I mean? I feel like Xavi can do it.
Yeah.
I feel like Xavi can do it, and then Pep is gonna be flabbergasted, just like Luis Enrique is gonna be flabbergasted.
Okay.
How
How about you, Jordy? What's your bracket looking like?
All right. So for Arsenal Bayern, give me Arsenal. Give me the Gunners.
The Gunners.
Yep. Madrid City. Give me City. I think City gets it done this time. I think they get their revenge. Atletico Dortmund. Give me Atletico. I think they get it done. And then Barca beat PSG. Barca get it done in semis against Atleti. Barca's in Wembley. Arsenal City.
That's one.
This is tough. That's a close one. You know why I think that's a close game? Because they know each other so well.
Yeah, the league, bro.
And Arsenal went to the Etihad earlier in the season and they got a point. They got a point, which is a very good result, man. And if there's one team that can beat City, it's Arsenal. Give me Arsenal beating Manchester City in the semi-final.
Okay.
And give me an Arsenal-Barca final at Wembley and Barca gets it done.
Oh,
Barca gets it done. Shake my hand. We get it done.
Dude, I'll bring you guys back to reality. So let me bring you back to reality because between PSG and Barca, I do have Barca. I think that the 2-3 result is good enough for you to advance. In the Atletico Dortmund, I have Dortmund. I have Atletico. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Atletico is going through because Diego Simeone has experience. He has experience to close this type of matches. I think they're gonna sit back. It's not gonna be good for enough for
Won't be
them.
pretty.
But because they're playing Dortmund and then they're not playing another team like PSG or City, they're not gonna be as damaged. However, in the other side, between Madrid and City, I have City just because I think Ancelotti is not gonna get this right. I feel like him approaching the second leg of the series, he is going to overthink. He's gonna look at the tape from last year where they got beat up like 4-0. It's going to be tough for them to come back from that. I don't think Ancelotti is gonna get it right. Between Arsenal and Bayern, I have Bayern just because I don't want City to play Arsenal. I don't want if we have a game between two Spanish teams, I don't want another game between two teams from the same country. I don't want that, and I don't think it's gonna happen. So I think it's gonna be City Bayern. Bayern beats City. Barca makes it to the final because of Xavi's experience over Simeone. And in the final, Bayern is once again going to beat Barcelona.
Ooh.
It's going to be tough. I may cry. I'm not gonna act like a tough guy because it sucks when the trophy is right there and you can't grab it. But I feel like even though in their corresponding leagues, Barcelona is doing better, I do feel like Bayern's players have more experience, and in a one game final, Bayern has the tools to hurt a team like Barcelona.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah, it's just in a one-off game, anything can happen.
Do you guys ever think about the possibility of a El Clasico final? It's a possibility, and I mean,
it is a
it is
possibility.
definitely a possibility. And if there's a year that it can happen, it's this year.
And
I don't know.
I feel like if we get to that final, we're gonna lose.
But I feel like as a fan, excuse me, as a fan of either team, you don't want that final because it's so damaging if you lose.
If you lose, the worst. If you win, you are immediately better than the other.
Yeah.
The rest of your life.
Any previous history goes out the window.
Yeah.
This final
I don't care
happens.
How many Champions League you have? It
Yeah,
doesn't matter if you have 14 champions. If I won La Sexta at Madrid,
yeah,
then that multiplies my Champions League by 12.
right, exactly. So I think either fans would not
I'll
want
say
it.
this. I don't think it's gonna happen because if we didn't have it in the GOAT era between Messi and Ronaldo,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I remember in 2012.
In 2012, Barca loses to Chelsea.
Yeah.
It was tough. That was a tough.
Yeah,
loss. And then
Madrid
Madrid
loses
loses
to
to Bayern in another tough loss in PKs.
yeah.
And then again,
Shout out to Sergio Ramos for sending that ball
Yeah.
to the moon.
and I think we have both teams in semis the following. No, we didn't, right? Because it was Bayern.
There was 2014.
No, because Bayern beat Barca in quarters, I think,
Yeah,
to make the
that's
final, and
the-
then Dortmund beat Madrid to make the final,
Yeah,
to make Wembley. I
yeah, it
believe
was close, but it wasn't in the semifinals.
There was also
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
2015 where I'm pretty sure it was Barca got to the final against Juventus. I'm pretty sure Juventus beat Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barcelona beats Bayern.
Barca beats
And
Bayern.
that legendary Messi goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Destroyed Boateng,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah,
that
so
was
we've
good.
had some close calls in the past,
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't think it's gonna
but
happen.
yeah, no,
think
I don't see it happening either.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean it's possibility, but I mean in this sport, man, you never know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Because hey, man, if you would have asked me a couple months ago, Barcelona, we're gonna get to the finals of the Champions League.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, Guillermo wearing the Royals jersey. Yeah.
about? Oh yeah.
Good win.
Oh yeah.
Very good win, huh?
Last night, man, Real
And those fans were letting Messi have it, huh?
no, yeah.
They were letting Messi have it. I saw all those videos.
It was really something surreal, like just watching like
Mhm.
a bunch of players that you grew up watching in Barcelona, just old, go to Miami, and then just a bunch of old guys just playing the game, and then just getting eliminated by like one of your favorite team. It really was pretty surreal in Monterrey. Like that stadium looked insane. I don't know if y'all.
Yeah, it
y'all
looks
saw
crazy. That atmosphere is
The
Champions League
atmosphere was
level.
Great. The stadium itself was amazing. Obviously,
Yeah.
the grass though. Come on, we gotta do it better.
We gotta do better,
We
guys.
gotta do it
Come
better.
on.
If we have that type of grass in 2026 for the World Cup,
Yeah, there's some questions have to be asked.
you might as well just close the stadium and then start playing in high school stadium.
I don't know if y'all know this. I don't know if y'all, but the grass has always been a topic of conversation. Like
Yeah.
Like year after year, there will be like players literally grabbing the grass, tearing that thing up.
I mean,
like,
they have to stop the
throw it.
match at some point,
Yeah,
right?
it
They
was-
stopped the match and someone just came in and filled like a
started
hole.
filling it up
yeah.
with like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We gotta get that fixed by 2026.
that's funny.
By
'cause
2026.
That's a topic of conversation.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
And the thing is, like, Real beat Miami, and in the CONCACAF Champions League, if Tigres would have beat Columbus, there would have been a semifinal regia, and I was really looking forward to that.
yeah,
Because then it would have been like, oh, the final against, I don't know, the other side.
yeah, with
But-
America Pachuca is the other
America
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Salomon Rondon, Venezuela striker.
Oh,
He's-
scored a goal. Yes,
scoring,
scored a goal against Herediano.
Yeah, he has scored 2 hat tricks in CONCACAF Champions Cup. I mean, that's amazing. He's killing it
Doing
in
his thing.
Mexico. He didn't have a good time in River, the Argentinian club, but I mean, he's killing it in Pachuca. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yep. West Brom legend.
But talking about
Literally.
CONCACAF Champions Cup, I do want to close saying something that we gotta give the respect to Columbus. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
They're
Representing
the only
them.
MLS team like that. It's still in place, beating Tigres, like you said,
Yeah.
in Mexico.
In Mexico.
Like
You know, a
that's,
stadium that's full of packed with people. You have kids that are playing right off after college, playing that kind of stadium. It's not easy.
yeah, I mean, going into El Volcán, one of the most active stadiums in the entirety of Mexico. Like,
The entire world,
Yeah.
honestly.
Like any Liga MX fan, like can tell you like, oh, easy. Like the Tigres are gonna win that game. Like even me, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Columbus. Like y'all
Yeah.
needed to capitalize before. Y'all couldn't. Columbus comes in, and then there's a mistake at the back from the right back. Passing it into the Columbus goalkeeper, which his name is Patrick Schultz, and then Gignac just kind of gets in there and scores. And it was
I thought
like
it was over.
yeah, it was 30 minutes. I'm like, wow, like I just really scored like that, like whatever. But then like the game goes on, Tigres couldn't really capitalize on the opportunities that they were given. Columbus ends up scoring. I think it was De Rossi that scores, and then they tie. It's 2-2 aggregate. They go into penalties, and the same goalkeeper, Patrick Schultz, that made the mistake at the beginning of the match. It wasn't entirely his fault though. It was it was a little bit of everybody. 23-year-old goalkeeper, technically like his third year professional like soccer, and he stops a penalty from André Pierre Gignac and from Guillermo Pizarro, which is like arguably, or no, not even arguably, the most experienced players in that Tigres squad. Like Gignac,
It's big.
yeah, like they both played in Europe. Like stopping a penalty against those two characters is such
Yeah.
a big feat, and that's the reason why Columbus won, because they were able to win a penalty shootout. Columbus is on to the next round against Rayados, and got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
23
whatever happens next round, it's just you earn the respect.
Yeah,
of,
I think they could be
of-
proud.
Yeah, they can be proud, and I hope the entire league unionizes and supports like just
Yeah.
Columbus in general because like this is not easy. Like you saw what they did to Inter Miami,
Mhm.
which is not the best, is not near the best club in MLS.
Yeah, but they have.
But they have Messi.
Yeah.
They have the best player in history. So they did that to Inter Miami. It's not easy. It's not easy. Like still being alive. in the
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah, but I think so. We have America Pachuca and we have Rayados Columbus. What do you guys think? Predictions? I'm gonna go Rayados beats the Crew, and then I'm gonna go America beats Pachuca, and then we have America Rayados final. Crazy final.
Yeah.
Guillermo, I'm sorry. I'm giving it to Club America, and they win it all.
I mean,
That's my prediction.
that's a fair prediction, because like America's just so strong, man. They really just are. But honestly, like this season, bro, this Reals team, like I like it a lot, man. This happens all the time. Our coach just tends to crumble under pressure when we need him the most. But at this point, I don't think it's about the coach, bro. I think our players just have that passion, especially Brandon Vasquez coming in from Cincinnati. He scored a tap in yesterday, like a literal
giveaway.
tap in.
A
Yeah,
giveaway.
and he was screaming. with
He's
his
so much
entire
passion.
soul. I was like, oh my god!
like I know this guy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that. I gotta root for my team, and I do think Reals over Columbus, America over Pachuca, but I'm gonna say Reals over America.
Rayados.
Yeah, I put Pachuca just because of Salomon Rondon, and then I put Rayados because I don't think the crew is gonna be able to do this twice.
Nah,
I think it's kind of like that.
Who has first leg for that Rayados
We can
Crew
get
game?
that.
We can check that real quick.
Yeah.
And then so we'll see. I mean, if the crew is away again on the second leg, then yeah, very complicated.
The crew is home for the first match.
Well, then yeah, very complicated. I do think that for sure. I do for sure think then Reals gets that done.
Yeah.
They advance to the final. So
Yeah.
I mean,
That's good enough for us today. I think
Yeah.
we should call it a day.
talked a little bit about CONCACAF Champions League.
UEFA
Next
Champions-
week we got Dynamo this weekend as well against Minnesota. Let's go. Hopefully they get it done as well. A lot of action.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're done this, so
It's our first episode, technically our pilot.
Yeah.
And we're
Our
follow us-
introductory episode.
Follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, all the good stuff. We're gonna be posting clips, all kinds of content.
Yep.
No Hay Arquero. Also gonna be doing a lot of Houston-based content. A lot of Copa America gonna be coming to Houston. We're probably gonna be doing a couple videos out there. Maybe
Yeah.
some
we're
vlogs.
Yeah.
definitely gonna be talking about Copa America because it's
Copa
gonna be
America. We got Mexico, Brazil, and College Station.
Yeah.
We'll be
definitely
doing some stuff there soon.
I'm gonna make sure to yell some stuff to Neymar.
Yeah.
Neymar is not even gonna play, but I'm gonna try to reach Benny, let him know.
Let them know.
He needs to
Yeah.
stop crying.
But that does it for us.
Thank
It's
you all
been-
for tuning in.
Yep. We'll see you guys next week. Champions League, CONCACAF, everything. We'll talk everything here on No Hay Arquero. Take it easy.